Thanks for joining us. My name is Kevin Anyango, a founder of Mtandao Varsity School of Soft Skills. The platform talks about those behaviors or characteristics that employers are looking for or opens up opportunity. Today, I'm not alone, and today is a bit different podcast because I am with two very distinguished young persons. That's in the name of Bernard Molola, a very good friend, and Cleopatra. Cleo, welcome to the show, particularly you. This is your first time to be here.
Thank you.
And I've got to say,
I'm humbled.
Oh, well, listen, no, wait, don't play modest. Your girlfriend, before I come to you, Bernard, let me talk to Cleo. I like the voice of a black child. What's that?
It's an organization that focuses on HIV sensitization. We fight stigma in the community as well as create awareness about sexual reproductive health and contraceptives. Yes.
Well, and
in Nairobi.
Why the name Voice of a Black Child?
Because we are trying to give someone a voice, any person who is living positively, whether infected or affected, and we are trying to show them that their voice is important and they deserve to be heard, and equally, they are like any other kid out there.
Marvelous. Yes. Well, so I tell you what, I do like that. Bernard, welcome to the show. This is your second time. Niaje Buddha.
Fresh barida.
And the last time I spoke to you, Bernard, now you have become a TikTok celebrity.
Is it a celebrity, really? Man.
It is. I watch your lives all the time, and you get always 100+ viewers. And I've got to say that's why I met Cleo.
Yes.
Well, listen.
She's an amazing lady, and I have a following in TikTok.
Well, listen, I'll go straight to the point. You see, for the last few years, there has been these accounts of young people living with HIV and AIDS, taking ARVs on camera and sharing with the audience. Don't you think that is scaring people, or why that, Bernard?
Yeah, no, yes, I know some people are afraid of it, but at the end of the day, it's all about motivating each other, and it's motivating each other and just making sure that we reduce stigma and discrimination. That's why we do what we do. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that the people living with HIV in the world, now, the other time I was talking about Kenya, but now it's across the world because of TikTok. So the world, not to stigmatize people living with HIV, and also for the people who are living with HIV to know that they have a life to live. I've lived 35 years. Next month, I'm turning 35 years living with HIV. So that's a huge milestone to the world that HIV doesn't define anybody. And anybody who is HIV positive can live a life. I am working, I am a professional, I have a child. So HIV should never disturb anybody, like prevent somebody from doing what they have to do to survive in this world.
But you very have to talk about your status. I mean, you don't feel like your friends will try to avoid you or people start looking differently, no?
I always say that I don't know how to live negative. I only know how to live positive. So what?
Yes. Carry on.
Yeah. So I only know how to live positively. So I'm HIV positive, but according to life and what I've experienced, now I want to live a positive life. So I'm always a positive person in terms of HIV and also in life.
Well, talking about be positive, I'm going to bring Cleo to the room. Cleopatra, welcome to the show again, and a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
I mean, I've watched some of your lives that you join. You talk about HIV openly. Don't you think that's going to scare people away from you? Well, you're a very beautiful woman, by the way, I've got to say.
Thank you. So why should they be scared away? Why?
Well, I don't. You tell me. Don't you think when people hear HIV, the first thing they think of is death, or it's avoidance? That doesn't make you hide your state or not talk about it.
Apparently, no. Maybe previously I could, but at the moment, I think I'm very comfortable. And I was equally comfortable then, but it's just that I wasn't out there in the public. So me talking about HIV is nothing to me. I mean, I don't know, it doesn't even cross in my mind that I am positive, not until when I'm taking my drugs. That is at night at 10 p.m. That's when it crosses my mind. And again, we are trying to, you said about feeling that people maybe reject you, they might discriminate you. That is why we are here. That is why our organization is there to fight the stigma that is there around HIV. We are in 2022, hatuko zile zamani za kale. So many things have changed. I mean, science has advanced and it continues to advance every other day. So we are here to tell people that it's possible. Bernard has lived, he's turning 35, I'm turning 29. Yes. So we're here to show people that it's possible, and to inspire that person who goes out there and tests positive. And we're here to tell them that it's possible, and equally trying to let people know if you are negative, if you get tested and you're negative, you have another chance to put all the preventive measures so that you can maintain the negative status. Yes.
Oh, Cleo, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What do I say? So, what's the motivation? Why go live? Who cares? Why do you feel you should use social media to talk about your status? What motivates you, Cleo?
Apparently, social media is everything that we are depending on currently, whether business, whether what. So we are depending on social media highly, kabisa. And for us as an organization, our focus is on adolescents and young people. And the only way we realize that the society today has embraced social media. So it's a good channel to talk about that and to at least motivate people through that. So the reason why we chose that route and the reason why I do this, it's because I feel that some people have helped me and they have helped me get to the point that I am where I can proudly talk about my status without any fear and without any fear of even contradiction. But we have some people who don't have the courage to even disclose to one close person. You get to a hospital, I've worked in a hospital, someone will get tested and you'll tell them at least you need one person. That person doesn't have to be with you. And as a core is somewhere that they can just call you, but you need just one support system. And this person will say, no, I don't want anyone. And there's no way that you will force them to get someone to tell about their status. That is it's a personal decision. And that's why we say that disclosure is always a personal decision. It is a personal decision. You cannot force someone to say about their HIV status. The same way as a medic, you're not supposed to disclose, not even to the parents, not unless it's a kid now, but anyone above 18, it's their personal decision to decide whether they want to disclose. So for that reason, we are here. Those people behind the curtains who don't have the courage yet to talk about it, to help them know that there are people who've been there, we've done it, we've even bought a t-shirt, and we are raising our flags high.
Well, I'll tell you what, and I like your t-shirt, by the way. I've got to buy a few here.
You better.
But Cleo, I mean, first of all, Cleopatra is a real name, correct? Amani Jina Usani.
It is. Beautiful name, I must say.
Well, there's a look, somebody sent me a text and asking and I read what this person is saying. They're saying, is the name of the girl really Cleopatra? So it is your name.
Yes, it is.
And then someone else is asking me, I won't ask this on the camera. Cleo, I know your story. Personally, I know we've discussed, we've talked behind the camera. So you were born with HIV and AIDS, isn't it?
Yes.
And at what age did you decide, did you first of all know your status? And, you went through Kenyan education. How was school life like?
So I was disclosed to at 13 years. I was 13 years. That is 2007, and I was in class 8. And what happened? I think my parents and my relatives didn't really know how to go about that, because disclosure, just like I've said, disclosure, it's quite hard. Not even to parents only, but even to adults. It's not easy for someone to come and tell you, even to tell you, Kevin, if maybe I wasn't public. I don't think whether we had met on Bernard, they could just tell you, okay, I'm positive. It's hard. So that's why they took some time. And I wasn't on medication for all that long, for the 13 years. So I was put on medication from 13 years. And immediately the next year, I went to Form 1. That's when I joined high school. And this time I joined high school in a boarding school. You see, I'm just from Shags. Nimetoka Ushago huko. I'm just from Shags in Nyeri. I don't know. I have not been exposed to the outside world. I just joined place. And I must say it was quite hard, because you see, nilikuwa tu na stress, watu wataniona na kunywa dawa. I had little to no information about HIV. Remember our school curriculum? Maybe it has changed apparently, but ilikuwa which is a killer disease, HIV. Nini, about people being weak, about you're weak, you're everything bad was associated with HIV. So I remember when I got tested, the first thing that came in my mind when the nurse said that you're HIV positive was like, I saw myself, my beautiful dead corpse, and my friends and my relatives just mourning, and I felt it's the end of the world. Remember, this is a young girl without a mother who is supposed to explain to me what happened. I had lost my mom at 8 years, this is the disclosure part. And I usually say I felt that the world proved to be very untrustworthy to me at a very young age. But what I usually tell people is that I went to high school, nikacheza na dawa here and there, of course. And too bad, I was informed I was a little bit sickly, kabisa. I got TB and karibu niende kwa baba. But God helped me, and I was put on medication. So it's been, well, not a very beautiful journey, but I must say that I usually say God has been faithful in my life, and I owe him so many things, kwa sababu mimi sijapitia stigma. I proudly say this because I've not faced stigma from the family. I have friends who have totally faced stigma, to the point that Kelvin, mtu ako kwao na ni kwao, lakini amewekewa kikombe yake. The person has their own plate, their own spoon, their own basin, their own soap, and all that. I've never faced that. And I can proudly, and I thank God for my family that mimi sijaipitia hivo. And I think they have held me completely hivi, wamenishikilia hivi. And that's why I feel bad. I feel bad when I see, that was then, I'm born 93. And I still see people at this era, someone feeling that they need to discriminate someone because of their status. They need to feel someone is different because of their status, where we are at a point where science has totally advanced. And so many guidelines may change sana za HIV. So, personally, mimi sijapitia hizo sana, but of course there are those few hitches here. About when it comes to relationship, maybe I know you will ask that, so I won't answer that right now. But yeah.
Well, listen, you talk about God has been faithful. I'm going to talk to Bernard. Look, I've known you for 10 years now, I think. You've lived a life that people say normal. Like, you went to school, you went to college, you are a profession, you've got a baby with you. Like, without HIV, you are like just like me. You see what I mean? But the journey hasn't been easy, Bernard.
Yeah, very, very true. The journey is not an easy one, because the fact that, even when people, like, example, you have an headache and you're given like a 3 days prescription, it is always hard to take those Panadols. So just imagine, this is a life condition that you have to take drugs every day. And as Claire said, there are times that you reach a point where you feel like, you know what, I can stop taking these drugs. And but there's that also that voice in the back of the mind that I need to live, I need to be there because of maybe for myself and for the people around me. So that one gives me a lot of courage and a lot of encouragement to continue taking these drugs. And also the issue of just what people think about you. You know, sometimes you might never know what people think about you. So most of the time, as people living with HIV, people think like, you know, how wako na ugonjwa. These are sick people. But for me, I never believed that. I just believe it's a condition, because a condition that is manageable through drugs. And another thing I always say is all about God. You know, there are so many people who are HIV positive, and they passed away even with those drugs. And there are so many people who are HIV negative, and they have also passed away. So at the end of the day, this is a life we are living that we are been given by God. So if these drugs maybe they fail, then if they have ever failed in my life, which I don't believe they have ever, I could not be here in this earth. But the fact that there's a God there in heaven who looks, it doesn't matter who you are, which religion you come from, which race you are. What matters is that we are living a life that we have been given by God. And that is very important to me personally and to a lot of people living with HIV. And yeah, I'm so proud that this actually being HIV positive gives me a beautiful story to share. I share my story. People love me because of my status, as much as other people discriminate me because of. Though you know, when you are powerful and when you talk about you accept yourself, people are not able to stigmatize you. You know, and that's the
Interesting.
power. Yeah, a lot
So,
of people living with HIV don't know that secret. That if you have the voice to talk for yourself and accept yourself. In fact, the easiest way to reduce stigma and discrimination, it is for you to talk out and say, you know what, I'm living with HIV. Nobody will bully you. They will see courage. It will turn from discrimination, and they will see somebody who is courageous, somebody who is willing to share his story. Sharing your story is so powerful than any other thing. I've come to realize that. You know, you said
wow.
yeah,
You talk about two things that are very important. Well, you talk about faith. So faith is very important to you.
very, very important. Very, very important.
And
Yeah.
again, for those that have just joined us, this is Mtandao Varsity School of Soft Skills. The platform talks about those behaviors or characteristics that employers are looking for or open opportunity. But today is different. Today I'm talking to two young persons based in Nairobi, Kenya, talking about their status and how they use social media to create awareness on HIV and AIDS. Bernard, you talked about courage. How do you build courage?
What?
You say, you're very courageous, talking about your status. You go out there, nothing really, like you're not scared talking about the status. So how do you build that courage, that attitude to just carry on? I mean, do you read books? I mean, what is it? Life experience?
I think it's all about life experience and also the favor from God. You know, everybody has different talents in life. And maybe my talent is to speak out and be a public speaker. And that is what God has installed in me, you know, that I'm able to come out and air a voice out that, you know what, this is how I am. And that gives me a lot of courage. And also what I've passed through in my life, you know, there was a time I was depressed. There was a time I felt like I'm rejected. So when I combine all these things and yet I'm surviving, there's a time I had a lot of stress and I wanted even, I almost committed suicide. I was diagnosed with bipolar 2. And when I think if I came out of those situations, that means one thing, that God loves me and that there's a purpose for me. And maybe my purpose and what I've come to discover is to share and be a motivational speaker and share out about just share out the love, the courage, the psych to people around the world. Yes.
Wow. I think it was Cleo. If Cleo, you're there, can you hear me, Cleo? Oh, there she is. Cleo, you're very eloquent, I've got to say.
Thank you.
how do you build? Because you're not. One of the things that people like is people that know their stuff, people that are very eloquent and talk what they want to say, really. How do you build that? Is that something you're born with? Is that something you're practiced? How do you become that eloquent?
Well, I think I've always been a courageous person. I don't think, even without going public about my status, I think, and let me tell you, most people, and maybe, I'm with two men here, but I'll still say,
Please carry on.
It's funny that most men assume, or rather think that, or rather call confident women arrogant. I've seen that, I've heard that very many times, but it's just knowing that you know what you want, you'd go for it, and maybe you must make some mistakes here and there. That is life. We're human beings and we're meant to make mistakes. And the good thing is that once you know what you want and once you realize who you are unstoppable. Yes.
Wow, goodness me. Well, let's talk about your business, Cleo. So, as you say in the beginning of this podcast, I think one of you said that HIV doesn't define you. You are who you are. Now, when you leave your house every day in the morning to go to your shop, does it play in your mind your status doesn't really matter?
It doesn't. Why should it even matter? It doesn't. I mean, what I've been like this for the last 28 years. Where would I be if it keeps playing in my mind? When it plays, the only time that it plays is maybe when someone meets and talks about it, like, hey, is it you? You don't look like, and I'm like, what do you want? How do you people expect me to look like? And that is the thing that we are trying to put away, that a HIV positive person, it's just a normal person. It's not that they're hosting a virus, the HIV virus. There's nothing extra. You'll meet people and they're like, I didn't expect that you look like this. I didn't expect that. That is the notion. There's that notion that you should be skinny. I don't know, you should look.
Yes.
That is not there. It's not there. And that is stigma. And it's very bad. And it's the same thing. We can relate it to the same thing that came with COVID. There was a lot of stigma to anyone who had contracted COVID. And I feel bad once I see even people in hospitals and even medical people, health care givers, having the stigma. But again, you realize that not everyone has the same information. And the information that we have is what we are trying to disseminate through whichever channel that anyone can. Whichever. Hata ukisikia kwenda ukiongea shouting with a mic, we will do that. But we let people know that HIV is just a normal condition that you can live with for as many years as you want as a person. Because Kevin, most of these things, even the stigma, maybe nasema jia stigma, and stigma starts with you. It's about you. It's all about you. Once you stigmatize yourself, you will always see everyone else stigmatizing you. Why am I saying so? Right now, we're having this discussion, and maybe assuming we're in a round table, and then I'm the only person who is positive, and then I'll see if I have self-stigma, I'll see maybe you guys discussing, and I'll be like, ni mimi, it's about me, they're talking about me. Because you feel that everything that happens, people know. It's like you're afraid that people might know, you're afraid that the insinuation that you're positive, you're afraid that all that, and that is self-stigma. But the moment healing starts with acceptance. Once you accept your status, that is when healing starts. And that's when you start your journey. But until then, zero.
Wow. Wow. You see, this platform, I use it to talk about those skills or those characters or behaviors that attract opportunities, things that you may not learn in school. And when I listen to you, Cleo, obviously, I said you're very eloquent, you know what you want, and also you're a very courageous young lady. So perhaps what I should ask you is, what do you tell people that are saying, hakuna kazi, there's no work, there's no jobs around, they're just at home?
Well, hakuna kazi, that's the truth of the matter, hakuna kazi. But there are so many things that you can do. There are so many things that you can do, Kelvin. Well, as a young person, I started my business with 3,000. I won't say with a thread and a needle.
First of all, can you tell us, Cleo,
but I started with 3,000.
Cleo, to tell us what's the business. I mean, I know we've discussed this behind the camera, but for viewers here, could you just tell us very quickly what kind of business you do?
What I do is that I run a clothesline that is called Paba Collection, and we concentrate on African themed items and beaded accessories, not accessory, all accessories.
Do you have any of the dresses you've made or any tops?
I have some clients that I just came with. I just came with them from. We have some such bags. This is a top that is being sold. Once you buy this, I give you a free clutch bag. This is
so you design those and you make those dresses, isn't it?
Yes, we do. So that is what I do, and that is the business that I started. And then way after this, the voice is a baby is Paba Collections baby. So there's a very big difference, and there's a very big difference between Cleo, between the voice of a black child, and between Paba Collection. But the three of them should complement each other, and they should at least assist each other.
And, yes. And Cleo is the mastermind behind those projects you're doing.
Yes.
Right. So let's go back. So you're talking about people that are at home and are saying there are no jobs. People that are discouraged. So what do you tell them in relation to your story yourself?
What I tell them that we have so many stars in the sky for everyone, and they shine to everyone. So I don't think there's anyone who can proudly sit and say that hakuna kitu naeza fanya. It doesn't have to be employment. Hawezi sema. And again, people say that I can do this, but I don't have capital. I can do this. You don't need 100,000 shillings to start a business. That's one. You do not need a premises to start a business. That's two. You do not need customers to start a business. That is three. But as long as you have passion, I usually say passion will follow the money. And one thing that I think I showed you, one thing that I feel that there's some 5 things that I think I wish someone told me when I was starting my business, because it's not like it hasn't been a very beautiful journey. I think I've failed many times than I've done my best. I think so. I know so. I don't even think that's the truth. So most people feel that sina pesa, sina nini, but push yourself. Start with what you have. Start where you are. Start with the people around you, and trust me, God sees, he hears, and pray. Don't forget to pray. He hears, he listens, and he will definitely answer you. Follow your passion. Your passion will lead you. Follow your passion will lead you to your purpose. If you've not found your purpose, I found mine in the voice of a black child and in Paba Collection. And I pray that you find yours too. Yes. Thank you.
That's interesting. I like that. And wow, I mean, goodness me. Bernard, so Cleo is telling us about her business and, how she makes sure that her business stands. She's passionate about it. When we talk about HIV on camera, we're not saying that, you go out and be careless because they are drugs. That's not the message, really, is it?
No. It's all about having the right information and sharing the right information in the public, because we are very careful not to say what is not a fact about HIV. And a lot of people depend on us, maybe apart from the doctors, us who are living with HIV, that have that experience of it, of taking the drugs and also living with the condition, facing all these challenges of life, to talk about it. And they want to hear, when you take that drug, is it sweet or is it so? Does it have side effects? Those are the things people want to know. There's a lot of info. So when we come out to share, we don't share just because, in fact, I always say we don't share because we want sympathy. We want to touch life. I can tell you, Kevo, I started this issue of HIV, sharing my story in my Facebook account and in the Kenyan television, the national televisions. And one thing I've come to learn is so many people, even right now, don't know. Actually, I think they're ignorant, or they are pretending to be ignorant. A lot of people don't know this information. We might pretend people know, but people don't know. So even in my TikTok live, when I go live and share my story and start discussing about HIV, you find so many interesting questions, and you ask yourself, are these people living in this modern world of 21st century? But it's a fact that people are just ignorant. People want to be ignorant. Nobody wants to learn to go beyond what they know. Me, I always tell them in my TikTok live that wacha kutegemea stories za vijiji, missionary za vijiji. Go to the clinic and get the right information. The clinics, the HIV clinics are very free. The VCT are very free. When you go there, you don't have to pay anything. You just have to ask for the right information, and you are given this right information about HIV, And yeah, so when people should stop being ignorant and they should look for information, having information is power, having knowledge is power. Nobody can just play with you. For us who talk about our status, we have this information, and that gives us a lot of courage and a lot of strength to be able to share despite knowing that there are people who think that they're just doing this for a show off. There's nobody who is living with HIV who comes public who does this just for a show off or for crowd chasing, what they call it. We do this because we want to impact the society, and they need to see these ARVs. What are the ARVs doing to people who are living with HIV? We are healthy.
You talk about the process, and I'll come to you, Cleo, in a minute. So, Bernard, you just take us through the process. So, when someone goes to the VCT center, okay, they're being cancelled, about HIV and what happened once they have been tested. Then what? Because I find many people don't understand when people talk about that ARVs are free, but they don't know that actually it's a process. You're being tested, you're being linked up with a particular center. So, please just tell us the process, Bernard.
So what happens is this, and that's a good question to ask. And what happens is that you went into a visit, you are suspecting yourself, you might be, maybe have been infected by HIV. You walk into a facility, you'll be taken to the VCT office, the counselor's office. You tell them what you want to be tested, why, and all those, you are being asked those questions, and then you decide to be tested. So they counsel you so that if you turn positive, you are able to accept yourself. If you turn negative, you thank your God and you go home free, but you will be told after 3 months to come back. So after you have been tested, you turn HIV positive, then immediately you are supposed to be enrolled for care and treatment so that you'll be able to start ARVs. In fact, it's called ART, antiretroviral treatment. You start it, that time you have gone to the facility, you are talking to the enrollment process, you are given an admission number, the way people go to hospitals. You are given an admission
and it is free. And Bernard, it is free. You don't pay anything.
It's free in Kenya. It's free in Kenya to so many government hospitals or even the programs. Like me, I work in a program that deals with that. It's free. So after that, you have been tested, you have turned positive, you are counseled by the counselor, and then immediately that day, you start your ARV treatment, and then the clinic will always check on you. When you are starting, you might be given 2 weeks, TCA, that is to return for the drugs, or you'll be given 1 month. But when they see you taking the drugs well, you will be given a TCA of maybe 3 months or 6 months to the maximum. It depends on how you adhere well to your drugs. So in that process also, the counselor follows you to make sure that you don't default. If you have any challenges, you can come back to that clinic and get the help and maybe be guided on what to do. And this is free. Yes.
Wow. And Cleo,
Yes.
do you think should people, when you look for employment opportunities, does it matter when someone tells the employer that actually I'm HIV positive, or should they just carry on with what they do?
It doesn't matter. Why should you? But unless it's a requirement, then you should. But why should you? If you're not,
really matter.
just like I said, if you ain't comfortable about people knowing about your status, do not tell them. People come to my inbox asking, I want to go public, but I don't know how to go about it. Don't think that it's very good. People are very cruel out there, Kevin. I think you've seen my TikTok and you see some comments that people make like,
I do.
Are you serious? Because I got used to that, because you'll see when someone come into your inbox and they'll start, personally, people will come and start hitting on you. And once you brush them off, they'll be like, just go away with your HIV, I don't know what. So people can be very cruel. And if you have a weak heart, you might succumb to that pressure. You might equally, I usually say I might be very, how I am right now, doing well, health-wise and all that. And once I get public, you'll come from top to down. You might I usually even say, you might go public today and commit suicide tomorrow. The world is very cruel. People do not care whether you have people don't care about a sad story. That is one thing that I've realized. People don't care about a sad story. That is your story. We all have issues. People are going through so many things today. So many things, more than even disease. People are going through so many things. So if you feel it's all about you. If you're not okay about disclosing, don't go ahead. But make sure that you're not putting anyone at risk. We usually say that. Make sure whether you're going public, whether you're disclosing, just make sure that you're not putting any other person at risk. Because if you infect someone intentionally, you will go to jail. You will go to jail. You will be jailed. If you do that and you will be jailed. That is wrong. It's against the law. It's punishable. So be very, very careful. And that's why we usually say, most of these, I ask, why do we still have new infections, and mostly among adolescents and young people, whereas we have medication that is supposed to suppress the virus and people live good lives and not infect and transmit the virus. What that means is that people are still going to clinics, just like Bernard has said, you're still going to clinics, you're taking medication, but you're not adhering. If you don't adhere, that means that the viral is still high. And that's why we'll continue having these new infections, not until we disseminate this sensitization information that adherence brings about undetectable status, and that means that you cannot transmit the virus. And that is the only way that will stop new infections. It's the only way.
And I think also it's only fair to say that one doesn't get HIV only through sex. You can also get the virus through other ways, and sharing needles, those who do drugs, or even like two of you are born with HIV and AIDS, isn't it?
Yes.
So we're moving away from those times where when you talk about HIV, the first thing people look at is you're immoral or you sleep around with people.
You're promiscuous, yes.
Correct. And talking about promiscuity, Bernard. So, what is the dream, Bernard, for you? So you accepted yourself. Clearly you are living a life that you want. So, what is the dream?
For me, what I will say is just continuing spreading the message of people living with HIV that they need to live a positive life, and also telling the rest of the community that we need to embrace each other. We are all important in this world. We have a purpose to fulfill in this world, and that should be our main focus. We should not look, each one of us has a weakness, no matter if we are positive or negative. We are never born perfect. We are living this life is a journey we are living in, and that is what all of us should know, that we were created to embrace each other, to love each other, and to be there for each other, despite our weaknesses and our strengths, despite where we come from, our races, our religion, despite all that, we are one family, one huge family created by one God, and that is it. For me, it's all about sharing positivity. Yes.
Cleo, you talked about people coming to your inbox and trying to hit on you. This is another one. Someone can ask me. The question I'm going to ask, right?
No.
Should I ask the question?
Yes, you can.
Well, so someone asking me, is Cleo single? Now, you can decide to answer that or not, Cleo. That's up to you. So should I pass or are you going to answer the question? Pass.
Please
Okay, I will
pass.
pass. Okay, that's passed. Another thing you talked about, some people giving negative comments to you. So how do you fight trolls online? Because what you do, like you use the social media to talk about yourself and also talk about your businesses. So how do you check off these weirdos?
I think I've gotten to a point that I say that you cannot use what I have accepted about myself against me. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. You cannot use that. Well, I'm human too, and there are times when you get someone saying something and you're like, you feel bad. You really feel bad because you're human. And I think I am a human, and that just shows that you're human and you're vulnerable and you're equally fragile. But it doesn't change anything about who I am. I at times I used, oh God, I've done things. I've confronted people who have said things about my status, almost fighting, yes. And I'm that person who looks for answers. Like, I want to know, why did you say this? Mbona ulisema hivi? But apparently, I think I don't have that energy. I'm so focused about my project. I am so focused about my life that I honestly don't care. You will say something, I will know about it. We will meet, I'll laugh at you. I will laugh with you, but sitakuuliza hata, sina hiyo shughuli. Sahi, I think sina hiyo shughuli. I have so many things around me. I rarely even sleep. I have so much work to do. So sitashindania. But most of this, if I find something so ridiculous and someone trying just to poke me, and if I realize umefanya hivi once, not twice, maybe on TikTok, on social media, unaenda tu kwa picha zangu na comment to vitu funny, I will respond. But hizi normal, I will just ignore. But if you do that, you keep poking me, I will respond. And some of those I respond, maybe I'll say something, maybe I'll do a video explaining, but I will definitely respond if you keep poking. But hizi za once, twice, mtu amesema nini, not wow. Here, Satan. No.
Wow. Again, for those that have just joined us, this is Mtandao Varsity School of Soft Skills. The platform talks about those behaviors or characteristics that employers are looking for or that bring opportunities. Bernard, you are a TikTok sensation. I mean, 3 months ago, you are nobody. Well, let's say nobody in terms of social media presence. But now, your live shows, you get 100 plus people. I can see by today, you've got followers of at least 115K. Okay, so there is a positive of social media, but there's a negative side as well of it.
Yes.
Now,
yes.
I don't know whether you've already experienced the negative side of someone like you who is now becoming a celebrity, whether you're seeing or not. But you are, but people know who you are now.
That is an interesting question, but actually it's true that in the social media, there's negativity and positivity, but it is up to somebody to choose what they want to listen to. You know, I remember when I started trending in TikTok because of my Mapengo.
Okay.
People were like, you know what, this guy, why Mapengo? They didn't know about me a lot in the TikTok, but Facebook, people know. My followers in Facebook, they know about my HIV status and all that. But when it came to TikTok, then I started sharing my story. I saw a lot of people very surprised that, and they always write that don't judge somebody before you know their story. But Kevin, me, I decided to listen to the positive side. I really don't concentrate on the negativity. The only thing there is knowing which person is genuine, you know, and sometimes that is the hardest thing, knowing who is genuine and who is not genuine. That is the biggest challenge. But with time, I'm learning this person is genuine and this person is not genuine. And also in TikTok, one of the things is how to share the information. Let me tell you, Kevin, when you go to TikTok, and you go to live and you share something serious like this for 1 hour, people will drop out. So you have to mix, you have to create jokes, and you have to make like it become a fun, and people might misinterpret it. I might do something and somebody misinterprets it. But for me, I know I want to catch the eye of my audience. And the only way is to, like most of the question is the question you have asked Claire. People want to know who is better at dating, who is better at socializing with. You know?
Yes.
And let me tell you something. I play those cards a lot because I pretend like I know what I want, I know the person I want, but at the end of the day, you have like to show them, to keep them there. You might,
Yes.
that is one of the negativity I found in TikTok. That a lot of guys will come and say, "Oh, Bernard, we love you." So me, I play along with them, but I know I'm doing that like to control that following and just to be and have fun. Sometimes I do it for fun to enjoy. Well, yeah. So yes, that is what I can say.
Well, listen, Bernard, I cannot thank you enough. First of all, for introducing me to Cleo, because without you, I would have met Cleo. And clearly, looking at both of you, you know, you've built unbelievable platforms. And actually, my last question to you, Cleo, is so how do you build a strong social media brand? I mean, you've got like what, 6,000-7,000 followers on just one platform, and then you've got Instagram as well, and also Facebook. So how do you build what I want to call these loyal fans? How do you build a social media followers
Oh God, they're not
without
loyal
twerking?
fans.
Without twerking, because you find anyone who twerks, they get followers, but which you don't.
I can't even talk. I cannot talk even.
I'm not going to ask you to stand up. I won't do that. I won't do that at all. But you know, it
Okay.
is.
So what happens is that once you identify that you have a content and you have something that you're bringing to the table, people will always follow you and they will want to learn. You realize that we are discussing about something that is very sensitive in the community. And this means that, just like I said, there's so many people. There's so many people behind the curtains who want to hear these stories. There's so many people who want to maybe learn. There's so many people who come there, not even, and that is why we insist that it's not about the infected people. You know, you find people, you'll find people will even be afraid to take photos with me. Someone will be afraid that if I post them, utapiga picha na mtu na atakwambia mimi usinipost. I mean, I don't want to be seen with you. Oh God.
So
And
have
you
you
realize,
experienced that?
personally, no, but I've heard people say that. And if you realize, I avoid taking photos. I can't tell you, come, let's take a photo. Not unless you want to take a photo with me, that's fine. But I think I would feel so bad if someone told me not to post their photo. But I've had instances where we were one of our charity works that we've gone, and someone said that they posted their photo with our t-shirt, and someone asked, why are you allowing your face to be used in that project? And the girl didn't know why the person asked that. And she came to my inbox and asked. She actually asked from the group that we had, because once we have an event, we create a group so that we avoid the distractions from the other members. And she said that someone has said this and this. And I told her, this is because they feel that the voice is about HIV. There is the assumption that everyone in the voice is positive. Yeah. Funny enough, Kelvin, let me tell you, among the members, we are almost 200 or 150 people. The royal, don't even, I said royal, oh God. Yeah. The loyal people, they are in the group, but not even 10% are positive. Those are people who have come there to support. Cleanly, they're just there to support. But you see, people have that assumption that anything about the voice, it's about HIV. Anything about Patra is about HIV. They no longer even think about Paba. They knew you meet through Paba, but sasa wanasemaga yule msichana wa HIV, yule msichana wa ukimwi. But anyhow, we still continue the fight. We will keep sensitizing. We will keep letting you know that if you do not take care of yourself, you will join us and utapanga line, because it's a long journey. And you would, it's not easy.
Are we in this fight, Cleo?
Maybe we will. I don't know whether we will. Not anytime soon, but I hope I can say we have made strides, big strides in the HIV. Apparently, we've made big strides, because as much as even Bernard was saying, people are ignorant, and it's you to decide. And ignorance, we say ignorance has no defense. Kuna mtu tu ataamua tu akuwe ignorant. You have a phone that has internet, but you will assume that if you date me, I will infect you in 2022. And you will come to my inbox telling me, I think I like you, but I'm afraid I might die if I date you. You see, you look at these things, unasema, guy, what are you talking about? So there are still people who choose to be ignorant. And that is where we are here sensitizing. And that is where we are here creating awareness. And that is where we are here telling people, you need to learn. We are not in those end times, those kitambo times, our mom's times, where most of our parents, most of the people who are positive, most of our parents are up to that stigma and all that. We should not get to that level. We've evolved. The world continues to evolve every other day. It's good that you learn. And I tell people, usichoke. Hata kama si important. Maybe there's someone in your family who is positive. They have not come out clean. And you come out to you and you may help them in one way or the other. We always say you're either infected or affected. It's either. You're either infected or affected. So you have a role to play in this HIV journey. You have, absolutely. And we must sisi. Na tunasemanga the voice. We tell them, tunasemanga hapo, everyone, this is our organization, you must take charge. It's either you're infected or you're affected. You might have a friend, you might have a relative, you might have even a sibling, you might have even, maybe we'll get kids, even your child. What will you do when you have no information to tell them? So it's about us, it's a journey, and there's no us without you, and there's no you without us. Wow. If we all come together and join hands, imagine we will make this world a very beautiful and better place to live.
Oh, wow, Cleo. And I like that. I am because we are. Bernard, are we winning the war?
We are trying so much, and there's a step towards it. Like in Kenya, we have already reached the 90 requirement. The 90 testing, the 90 people to be in care, the 90%. And I think we are winning the war slowly by slowly. And we are hoping by 2030 that this issue of stigma and discrimination and people being afraid to start their treatment who are HIV positive will reduce. Like a lot of people.
Bernard, are you saying that anyone who is HIV positive right now, 90% of the population or people living with HIV are on drugs?
Yes, in Kenya, according to United Nations, they're on drugs. 90% of the people living who have been identified positive.
That's positive, Bernard.
Yes. And then there's the 90 of being undetectable, and then there's the 90 of just making sure that they are on care on the treatment and it's going on well. But
Bernard, just a minute. Someone just sent me a text here. And this Levinol, thanks for joining the show. I can see there. He's saying it's 95.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So it's 95.
True.
I don't know. Hang on, just a minute. Levin, if you can hear me, do you want to come on the live? Right? Please comment if you want to come for like 2 minutes, please. I'll wait for your message right now. Bernard, carry on. So 95% of people that have tested HIV are on drugs. Yes,
95%. So I think that shows a lot of psych and a lot of that the world is winning the war on HIV, but we need to work. We need to make sure it's 99%. No,
okay, that's what
the biggest. I wanted to say this.
Please carry on.
I want to say to all the people living with HIV, they should never fear being in a relationship. That thing, it's scaring a lot of people living with HIV. Being in a relationship. We are normal human beings and we need to have families. However, and that is very important, that people need to know that people living with HIV, they are having families, they are having negative babies, and they are living well. Nobody should be scared to be in a relationship because of HIV. And let me tell you, Kevin, a lot of stigma comes when people are looking for partners. People living with HIV, A person who is living positive can live with a negative person and not infect them. A person who is HIV positive can marry a positive person and they get a negative baby. You know? So nobody
Well, you
should.
got a baby, Bernard. You got a daughter who's HIV negative, isn't it?
Exactly,
So you know what
exactly.
you're talking about.
Yes, exactly. And I work in a program where I'm a data clerk, and I see I give admission numbers, and I exit the children from the system, and I've seen every month I discharge over even 20, 10, 30 children turning negative. So it's not all about, people need to know this information. They should not be ignorant. No, it is happening in real time in this real world. So we are not limited to anything. The only difference between us and somebody who is HIV negative, it's only taking the ARVs. That's the only difference.
Do you have, I'm sure there's some people that listen to us right now, about 15 of them, as what I can see. Do you have any HIV tablets we can show us?
Yes, I have it. Let me show
Can you
you.
I mean, some people think it's a huge, it's a you know,
This
I
one.
do. Oh, there you go.
This
So
one.
can you just show the tablet, Bernard, if that's okay?
Yeah, this one here. Let me show you this one.
So that's what kicks out the virus. That's what's fighting the virus.
Yes, this one.
They're weird. And obviously they have evolved, but they used to be huge and they keep on reducing sizes.
Yeah, this time the world is changing. And I take this once a day. So Kitambo, we used to talk in the morning and in the evening, but now people are taking one pill only, one, just one of it. This one is for 3 months. The other bottles for 1 month. So it's a reality that that is there in the world, you know. And the drug is only this one. You see, this one only.
Yeah, I remember when I first actually started understanding about HIV. There used to be lots of tablets that people used to take. I remember, well, seeing some people, we and I know about that, they used to take 5, 6 tablets, but now it's just one. That is amazing achievement.
I'm hearing there's an injection coming, you know. Maybe it will be for 1 month. You will be injected for 1 month.
Wow.
You don't have to carry the pill. So
That's
life
super.
is changing. Things are changing in life, you know.
And so just to finish this, I know you guys are very busy. Cleo, just last question from me. So how do you make sure that you are there to the drug? I mean, how do you maintain that discipline, Cleo, to make sure that you take your drugs as per doctor's instructions, and you don't default?
Okay, I don't think, but maybe funny enough, of course, maybe I've gone out, I'm coming back home late, but I don't think there's any time that I ever forget to take my drugs. It's in here. I know that I am not supposed to go to bed when I've not taken my drugs. It's in my system. I've done this for over 15 years. I think it's now hadi nasikianga nitajua tu there's something that yenye sijafanya. But to get to that point is that you make yourself know that, make it a habit. You must be consistent, because if you do not adhere, then all those opportunistic diseases will come. Why are we insisting on adherence? Because adherence is the one that brings about suppression.
Right.
The adherence. If you take your drugs the right time, every other day, and of course you'll maintain a good diet and all that, you'll definitely suppress the virus. And suppression doesn't mean that you're cured. There are some people, sasa kama sahi, if I went to get to test, even to randomly. I think I've never tested from the time I was tested that when I was 13 years. I've tested again once when I was in school. Nilienda tu nikasema, let me test and see. And you'll find I have been undetectable. So once I test, the test will come out negative. And this doesn't mean that you're healed. Kuna watu wakitest hivyo wanajua wakikuwa LD wanasema no, I'm fine, and they stop taking medication. That is so wrong. That just means that you've suppressed that the virus is not detectable under normal measures. That is the only thing that happens. But if you adhere, And to new people who have just tested, it's very hard for you to remember what usahau, because this is a very new curriculum that you're introducing to your body, but you forget. We always advise, we have phones that have alarms. You can get a watch if you don't have a phone. You can equally get that one person that I was talking about who will always remind you. Get one person, get one support system. And that is why in the hospital kuna kwanga ukitest tu anakuuliza ni nani unaweza taka ajue. Tunataka at least upate mtu mmoja, si wawili, just one person mwenye at least anaweza kukukumbusha, a person who can work with you. It doesn't have to be your relative, sio lazima kuwa beshte yako juu utaogopa. Mtu yote, just a random person who will keep you in check, who will remind you. We call them drug buddies. Atakukumbusha. You might get, we have support groups in the hospitals. You might pick someone, get a friend there. Who you share the same status. It doesn't have to be someone who is negative. As long as that person will remind you to take your medication, that is what is important. Because we are human and you are prone to forgetting, utasahau, masa utapata imepita, useme, nitakunywa kesho. But you realize the moment you start skipping that, defaulting. Kama mimi, I'm taking second line. Mimi sikunywa dawa za first line. Reason being because sikukunywa dawa vizuri.
What's that? What's first line, second line for people that don't know?
Newly tested people go to first line. That is the first drug that you administer to. But once first line fails, you are administered the second line because it's a little bit stronger than the first one. I took the first one for more than 10 years. And in between, I've defaulted. And now the drug became resistant. Haikuwa inafanya kazi kwa mwili. And I had to be, niliulizwa now, waliniambia now you know, dawa zimekata. And if you want to leave, it's you to decide to kupeleke second line ama uendelee na hizi dawa lakini hazikusaidi. My varied was so high, thousands and thousands. And I told them it's fine. And immediately I was put on second line. The third month, nikienda kupimo varied, I was undetectable, up to date. It's actually the strongest that we have right now. But we always tell people, try at least, please. And I can tell everyone who is watching here, and maybe anyone who will ever come to see this, if you are newly tested, please adhere. Usitoke first line. Usitoke first line because it's the best drug and it's just one tablet. Moja tu, kunywa tu hiyo moja na avoid history yote ya kukuja second. Because if second line, our bodies work differently. There are people who administered second line na inakata. The option is third line. And after that line, there is no other drug. What will you do? That means, bye, you'll just die. So it's good.
It's very important. And again, look, I've done, over 50 podcasts with various personalities. But today, I'm kind of touched, really, because what you guys are talking about, people expect to hear them in schools, or when you go to the doctors, because I understand when I was growing up in Kenya, for instance, the culture there is you don't really ask questions. When you go to see a doctor, you just have your doctor telling you. But from what you're telling me, Cleo, sometimes it's good to ask questions, understand why am I in the first line drugs and why in the second, or why should I remain in the first line drugs? So it's very important to hear it from the horse's mouth, as the say goes. Look, I cannot thank you both enough for coming to Mtandao Varsity School of Soft Skills. Bernard, thanks for the introduction to this young lady here. She's refused to say whether what should I say? She's refused to say her status in terms of whether she's single or not, but it does not matter. You look absolutely amazing, Cleo.
Thank you.
And you are a testimony that with or without HIV, you can still be beautiful, be trendy, set up business, successful business, and even motivate people. Bernard, you're a celebrity, man, so it doesn't matter whether you've got HIV or not. You can still create a platform and invite other people to get empowered through it. Look, I'm going to say goodbye for now. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been Mtandao Varsity School of Soft Skills, talking to Cleopatra Wanjiku and Bernard Mololo, based in Nairobi, Kenya. Guys, thank you so much. I'll speak to you soon.
Bye-bye.